April 1860, Italy is still a collection of small kingdoms, with Sicily under Bourbon rule. But in the north, a unification movement is gaining momentum. General Garibaldi is preparing to march south, and Palermo is on edge. The city enforces a curfew. Soldiers stop a carriage, but quickly step aside when they recognize the Prince of Selina, the Leopard. Inside the church, his daughter clings to him, while a nun warns that their family's Bourbon ties put them in danger. The prince insists on taking her home. His wife wouldn't rest otherwise. As their carriage pulls away, riots explode across the city. The streets echo with shouts of death to the Bourbons. His daughter panics. A priest calls the rebels heretics, but the prince remains indifferent. He expects them to get drunk and lose interest soon enough. Back at the family estate, Concetta is reunited with her family. Over breakfast, Paolo rants about Garibaldi's plans, not just to dismantle the Jesuits, but to take down the entire Bourbon kingdom. The prince shrugs it off. Sicily is too hot for revolutions. Meanwhile, Concetta confronts her cousin Tancredi, who secretly supports the rebels. He argues that he's on the winning side. Italy's future lies in progress, not corruption. He envisions a modern nation with railways and industry. Concetta isn't convinced, but makes him promise to stay safe and write to her. Later, the prince investigates missing lemons from his land. A tenant blames bandits, but the prince sees through it. Russo, a trusted associate, is behind the theft. Instead of punishing him, he issues a warning: dig a new well and provide fresh bread for the people. At home, Concetta receives letters from Tancredi almost daily, until they suddenly stop. Then her dog leads her to a gruesome discovery: a dead soldier near the fountain. Paolo is furious, blaming Tancredi and the rebels for turning against their own people. When he insults Tancredi, the prince slaps him. Worried, the prince rides out to find Tancredi, who has been arrested. He's not surprised. He's known about his nephew's involvement all along. Tancredi shrugs it off, confident he won't be executed. The prince isn't so sure. He later visits a woman and reflects on how he practically raised Tancredi after his sister's death. Now he has to save him, though he has no idea what he'll say to the governor. At their meeting, the governor doesn't mince words. Young idealists have always been executed, and Tancredi is no exception. He's a threat. With war approaching, examples must be made, and Tancredi is the perfect candidate. The prince is furious. His own nephew? A lesson for the rebels? The governor doesn't budge. The firing squad is ready. If the prince wants, he can even watch from the terrace. Desperate, the prince tries to buy Tancredi's freedom, pulling out a checkbook from his London account. Name a price, but the governor doesn't want money. It's too much trouble. What he wants is land, the same land that has kept the prince's family in power for generations. The prince hesitates, then offers 20 hectares. The governor laughs. He doesn't want a piece, he wants all of it. Later, Tancredi is released. The prince, half mocking, tells him that if he loves jail so much, he should rob a bank next time. At least then, he could buy back some of the land that was lost to free him. But Tancredi isn't amused. His comrades are still locked up, but he's leaving them behind. The prince scoffs at his talk of honor. Tancredi is forced to witness the execution of his friends. The prince makes sure he doesn't look away. At lunch, Paolo confronts Tancredi, accusing him of mocking the family. Tancredi brushes him off, but Paolo isn't done. He tells the prince that Garibaldi's army is coming, and keeping Tancredi here is a stain on their name. Supporting him makes the prince complicit. Then he storms out. Meanwhile, Concetta sees the turmoil in Tancredi. Is he mourning his friends or struggling with the life he's leaving behind? He admits a part of him wants to stay, but what would that mean? Settling for nothing. She argues this isn't nothing. Their family, their home isn't real, but Tancredi disagrees. His house is in ruins. His income comes from her father. The real world is out there, and he has to be part of it. Later, the prince makes a move. He gives Russo control of the lands he lost to the governor, making sure Russo knows he'll now be stealing from someone else at a much higher profit. In return, he wants protection. Garibaldi's army is coming, and he wants to know his home will be safe. Russo agrees, but there is something else, something about Tancredi. The prince tracks Tancredi down on horseback. He doesn't mince words. He's annoyed that he'll likely hear about his nephew bleeding to death in some pointless war. The prince doesn't answer. Instead, he challenges him. Does Tancredi really believe this revolution will succeed? Has he forgotten where he's from? Tancredi isn't naive. The prince lays it out. Sicily has seen invaders come and go, but the island always reclaims itself. Tancredi sees it differently. This time, change is inevitable. The next ruler is already at the door. Maybe for once, it won't be a bad thing. The prince laughs. Does Tancredi really think this will make people more disciplined, more cultured, more hardworking? Sicilians don't want to change. They think they're perfect already. Vanity is stronger than any army. But Tancredi just smiles. If we want everything to stay the same, everything must change. The prince sighs. We're in Sicily. After all, won't be long before you have to bribe someone. He hands Tancredi some money. Tancredi takes it and says goodbye, uncle. Then he gallops off, disappearing into Garibaldi's ranks. The crowd erupts. Long live Garibaldi. Back home, Conchita asks her father, what if Tancredi is killed? The prince doesn't even hesitate. He won't be. And the episode ends.